First up on today's show, Shea brings us an update on entertainment.
After that, Ryan brings us an update on the new songs that were recently released.
And then we have a local update on 9/11.
All that and more coming up on today's show of Flyer News. Good morning, Flyers, and welcome back to Flyer News. Today is a day one with periods running A, B, C, D, E. I'm Andrew Reynolds.
And I'm Katrina Barrett. It's crazy to think that we just completed our first cycle of the school year and we're back on day one.
Especially starting school 3 weeks ago, a lot has happened in that time.
What's funny is that while we've been in school for the past 3 weeks, one of the biggest movies came out. To break down the new Marvel movie, Shang-Chi movie, we have Shea with entertainment.
Hello, Flyers. How's it going? I'm Shea, your host for entertainment, and today we're talking Marvel. More specifically, Shang-Chi, the brand new Marvel movie that came out this past weekend, and I gotta be honest, it's one of my favorites. It is right up there with me with the original Avengers and Thor Ragnarok. Those are my favorite movies. Thor Ragnarok is, for me, above all the other Marvel movies, but Shang-Chi is up there. A lot of the reasons why I love this movie so much is in the beginning, the action scenes with the main character Shang-Chi, or Sean. The fighting feels very real, kind of like just like a Bruce Lee kind of like old style kind of kung fu movie. As you know, just one guy comes, he kicks him, beats him up, and it is really cool martial arts movie, which I think Marvel did a really good job of like figuring out what works in all the styles that the main character Shang-Chi uses to fight, and a lot of his combatants that he has to go against all use very identifiably kind of Chinese martial arts, which is very consistent, and I love that about the story. And now that we're on the story, it's another thing that's amazing. The story follows Sean, or Shang-Chi, right, as he has to fight against his father, demons, and like his dad is basically a god. He's got 10 rings, it's in the title of the movie, that's not a spoiler, right? And he has to fight him. And I think, and it follows it really well as it follows has a subtle tone of the idea of immigration into America. As Shang-Chi, Sean, he goes by both in the movie, is an immigrant from China into America. So it kind of goes through that kind of struggle. There's this side character played by Aquafina, right? Her name is Katie, right? And she's kind of the embodiment of like a second generation, Chinese child who has to, kind of try and live up to expectations, and she doesn't really know what to do in life. And I found that very interesting, and I love that. All in all, movie's very funny, great action, and once again, Marvel kills it as they always do. Please watch Shang-Chi if you haven't already. It's in theaters. It'll come to Disney Plus whenever it wants to. That's all for me on entertainment. I've been Shea. Let's take it back to the desk.
Thank you, Finn. Recently, I've been going back to my old Amazon Music account to find new songs I used to love. And I'm not going to lie, I have these songs on repeat all the time.
I've been listening to old music as well, some new music here and there.
Luckily for you, if you're looking to add some new, fresh songs to your playlist, Ryan Crotty is back again with another edition of the always entertaining Ryan on the Radio.
Good morning, Flyers. Welcome back to Ryan Radio. First up on today's show, who you probably have heard, but Drake released a new album called Certified Lover Boy. He released 21 new songs on this album, and I'll be playing you a small segment from the song called Fair Trade, which is featuring Travis Scott.
I've been losing friends and finding peace. Honestly, that sound like a fair trade to me. Rolling 80 wheels in a safety. Riding
total is about 5 minutes long. However, both verses were really good. The beat was very mellow, very laid back, very chill. I'll give it a 8.2 out of 10. Next up, we have an album coming from Imagine Dragons called Mercury Act 1. I'll be playing you a small snippet from Lonely.
Starting to seize lights, camera, action, and scene. Story of my life. Oh, love, have mercy on me and keep me company. I said, oh, love, have mercy on me and keep me company. I said, sometimes I smile to keep things easy.
So my opinion of the song, the verses were pretty good. However, I really specifically enjoyed the chorus. Something about it just like sat with me right. So with that, I'm going to give it a solid 8. And lastly, we have a single from one Joyner Lucas, who released a song called Dreams Unfold featuring Little TJ. Here's a small sample of that.
I'm in that zone, no X and O's, no tic-tac-toe. I cross my heart, don't hope to die, but if I do, don't let that go. I pray my soul don't get that cold, my jewelry freezing in that slow. When you gon' watch my dreams unfold, it's the truest I know. Keeping that blicky by my side, tryna take my you gon' die. Never try to come in here running vibe, and it's a homicide. All I got is money on my mind, shawty and luck is on my vibe.
So the song, in my opinion, was pretty good. I definitely see myself and my friends going on drives, you know, jam out to this song in the car. I've already added my playlist, so I can listen to more of it. I would give it a 7.9 out of 10. And before I go, I have a little fun fact for you. In the lyrics, he does indeed say Massachusetts born and raised, and a little fun fact for it is he was actually born in Worcester. Here's your fun fact for today, and that's all from me, and let's bring it back to the desk.
If you watched Flying News Remote last year, you may remember a story I made on the Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite versus Apple lawsuit. After just over a year, the legal battle ended. The judge declared Apple victorious on all counts of the lawsuit. The judge also ordered Epic to pay damages for breaking Apple's terms of service. Epic did have some form of win because Apple was ordered to remove its anti-steering rules, which were policies banning developers from telling users about alternative to Apple's in-app purchase system, according to The Verge. Epic recently appealed this decision, but I do not want to go into any more detail at the moment because later this week, Flying News correspondent Jacob Cohen will recap the entire lawsuit. But if you cannot wait for that video, then just go to our YouTube channel and search for Flying News Remote episode on May 10th and skip to around 1 minute and 30 seconds in.
A Maine woman named Virginia Oliver has just turned 101 years old. She may be over a century old, but she is still an active ever in the Great Depression. Her 79-year-old son, Max, and her go lobster trapping up 3 times a week. Ginny and Max wake up at 3 in the morning and start their day and don't get home till 10 o'clock at night. Since Ginny has been doing this since she was 7, the job comes easy to her. For others, not so much. Both Ginny and her son have gotten to a rhythm while working together. Max will pull the traps up while Ginny measures the lobsters to make sure that they are big enough to keep. Recently, Ginny has cut her hand open after doing the job. After receiving 7 stitches, the doctor asked why she was out there trapping lobsters. She responded, she never plans to retire. She plans to retire when she's dead, and she holds her son to the same standard.
Recently, with the 20th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks, a lot of people from around the world have been reliving the moments that transpired on that horrific day.
Yeah, and as you know, I talked yesterday, there are a lot of victims that had strong ties to the Boston community.
Today, we honor those who were closer to home that had a direct relations here in Framingham.
With more on how the city is honoring the victims, we have Flyer News correspondent Colby Beck.
On the afternoon of September 10th, 2021, dozens of volunteers from the city of Framingham placed 2,977 American flags at Cushing Park to honor the victims of September 11th, 2001. As many of you already know, last Saturday was the 20th anniversary of the attacks on 9/11. The city of Framingham had placed almost 3,000 flags at Cushing Park for the 10th anniversary, so it was decided to continue the tradition. The attacks stole 2,996 individual lives, including 17 with ties directly back to Framingham. The city of Framingham held a vigil last Saturday where a memorial was placed to honor those from Framingham who died in the attack, including 7 employees of TJX who were on one of the planes that crashed. The volunteers at Cushing Park worked alongside members of the Framingham Police and Fire Department. As well as the 2,996 civilians, 344 firefighters, 72 law enforcement officers, and 54 military personnel gave their lives in the aftermath of the attack. More than 25,000 individuals were injured on that day. Every year on September 11th, we as a nation will remember the terrible loss that we suffered over 20 years ago. On behalf of everyone at Framingham High Studios, we will never forget. For Flyer News, this has been Colby Beck. Let's take it back to the desk.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Flyer News. You can rewatch this broadcast again at 5 and 7 o'clock on channels 8 Comcast, 15 RCN, or 41 Verizon Fios.
Or watch this and other broadcasts under the FEC TV tab on the school's website or on our YouTube channel. For Flyer News, I'm Katrina Barrett.
And I'm Andrew Reynolds. Be sure to stay tuned as we have a special guest on the Early Bird, but you're gonna have to wait to figure out who it is. Anyways, hope you all had a great day. Have a great day, FHS, and we'll see you tomorrow.